Hello, everybody. Bethany Dotson, relationship coach and trauma-informed somatic therapist, going live with you today. It is 11:11, which is serendipitous. If you know, you know. So happy morning, happy Monday to you. I wanted to hop on here and talk about a dilemma that you may be facing. I have faced this myself. This was inspired by a recent call with some graduate clients of my program, Break the Cycle. We have graduate calls from time to time just to catch up on what people are doing, their updates on their dating life. And somebody shared in that group that she deleted all of her dating apps after a particularly scary experience in online dating. And I've seen this several times in my experience working with women in this area. I've also experienced the frustration of going on yet again another bad date, or being at, thinking that you found somebody that's promising and then it doesn't pan out. And then you go through that cycle numerous times and then you just get, you're done, right? So I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that online dating is not for the faint of heart, right? It can be challenging. It has its own unique set of challenges. We kind of remove the human experience from online dating. We become a photo and some words on a page. So it can be really challenging, especially if you have a history of low quality relationships, and perhaps your most recent relationship was with a narcissistic person or somebody who emotionally abused you, and now you're really gun shy about dating again. And in this video, I want to talk about the downsides of deleting your dating apps. And really the deleting your dating apps title really means avoiding dating completely, like avoiding that area of your life entirely. I want to talk about yes, it's a natural response, so I'm going to give you that. But the bigger point that I want to drive home is why this actually does more damage long term to you internally, and why you kind of arrest your development and arrest your own healing process when you remove romantic relationships or intimate connection entirely from your life and remove that as a remote possibility. And I've talked to too many women who have done this and they haven't gone on dates in years, and they haven't developed the skill set to have a healthy relationship. And I'm going to be the first person to tell you, if you've had unfulfilling romantic relationships, it is because somewhere, it's not your fault, somewhere you've got conditioning and you don't have the skill set yet to maintain that type of a healthy connection. I'm going to talk about why that is in a minute. And the only way you get that skill set, just like the only way you get good at playing the piano or the only way you get good at being a CPA, is through practice. So let's just dive right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about, first of all, if you hop on live with me today, feel free to drop in the comment live, ask me any questions that you have. So I want to first just acknowledge, like, you can be successful in every other area of your life. Maybe you're watching this right now, you've got a wonderful career, you studied hard to get your career, went to school, MBA, all that kind of stuff. And it can be extra frustrating when on one side of the paper, you do really, really well. You're a great mom, you're a great nurse, lawyer, real estate agent, business owner, whatever your job title is. You solve problems for a living, and you probably, in order to get where you are in your career and in your life, had to do a lot of problem solving to get there. So it can feel frustrating when you know how to do that in certain areas of your life. But when it comes to romantic relationships or even friendships or even closer relationships in your life, you can't translate that skill set there. One big area that people kind of fall into a trap, especially if you're a woman who considers yourself a high achiever, meaning you have goals. You're not just like lounging around, like waiting for people to take care of you, right? You're going after it. You're doing the things that you need to do in your life to reach your goals and get ahead. When you have trauma in your background, it can cause you to be an achiever because secretly, subconsciously, you don't feel good enough. And then secondly, you may have learned that solving problems and challenges got you through grad school, and it got you a promotion, and it got you another promotion, and it won you a big account, and then now you're leading a department. So you can equate hard work and solving problems with getting your outcome. And where this can set you up for being a match for a narcissistic personality is that narcissistic types are looking for people who are very conscientious and who have a lot of empathy and high altruism, and will give them a long runway to continue playing out their stuff. And if you are you have a belief that solving problems and working hard is going to help you reach your goal, you may have applied that same mindset to your marriage, for example, thinking that if you just solved enough problems and worked hard enough, that it would work out in your favor. So I want to draw the line that what you've done to get ahead in your career isn't going to be the same skill set that is going to get you ahead in your love life. And you need to develop deeper emotional awareness, deeper emotional intelligence for that matter, and discernment. And if you consider yourself a go, go, go person in your career, that can keep you actually, that go, go, go mentality can actually be a trauma response, having an overactive nervous system, being hyper independent, being hyper vigilant, feeling uncomfortable when you relax, feeling guilty when you relax. These are all signs that you may have past relational trauma that you're not working through yet. Okay, I got off on a tangent. Let's get back to it. So here's a real kicker. If you're avoiding dating, you were likely using avoidance tactics to keep a low quality relationship going, meaning you were avoiding bad behavior from your partner, or not wanting to address that behavior, or maybe you started to address that behavior and started to express your needs, but you were met with gaslighting or nothing ever changed. So you kind of abandoned hope there. And then instead of facing the truth and facing the reality of the situation and making a choice that was in alignment for what you really want, you probably then started avoiding certain topics in the relationship that would lead to an argument, or avoiding expressing yourself fully, your desires, your true wants, and your true needs. This could look like shrinking yourself down to fit into that relationship, altering your own behavior to keep a low quality relationship going, avoiding who you really are, avoiding your intuition, avoiding your gut feelings about a certain person or how they're reacting to something. Like when you avoid, usually you learned earlier in life that avoiding your feelings brought you safety in an unstable relationship or an environment. And when you learn that, and then you get into an unhealthy relationship and you keep perpetuating that pattern by avoiding conflict or avoiding your intuition or avoiding saying something that may upset that person, what you're doing is just strengthening that pattern. And at the end of the day, it's really never about who you're dating or the people that are in your area. And I've heard every excuse from people in the book about why they can't meet anybody. At the end of the day, it's ultimately about you and what is going on psychologically for you. So when you have been habituated to avoiding conflict in your romantic relationships or your interpersonal, there's a squirrel right there. When you have a habit of avoiding things to keep the peace, there's that saying, you've probably seen it online somewhere, the ultimate person that you start a war within yourself, right? You're ultimately abandoning yourself. So when you leave an unhealthy relationship and you go to therapy and you read a bunch of books and you listen to a bunch of podcasts and you start to get more clarity on, yes, this person may have had narcissistic traits, a downside that can happen is that you can not fully see where you are contributing to that pattern. And when you avoid dating, you're basically taking the same survival skill and coping strategy that you used to stay in an unfulfilling relationship. And now you've just transferred it to your single life. So you're still using avoidance tactics. And fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Like maybe you pick people apart when you start to go on dates with people. You quickly find red flags. Maybe you go into dates looking for red flags, or you go onto dating apps searching somebody's profile or looking at their photos and looking for things to disqualify them. This can be a strong signal that you have some trauma in your background, some betrayal trauma, abandonment trauma, things that are kind of holding you back. And yes, people have issues. I don't think, especially when you get over the age of 40, you've lived through some stuff. You probably got some war scars, some battle scars. So you're going to meet people that have issues, right? It's just a given. The benefit of giving yourself the opportunity to date is that you learn what works for you and what doesn't. And you also learn, this is so important, to widen your window of tolerance. When you escape or flee a narcissistic relationship, your body and your mind are in a constant state of stress. You were in a constant state of stress. Even though there may have been periodic good times, you were in a constant state of stress in that relationship to survive, right? To get through it, to tolerate it, to keep it going, to keep up appearances, to, wait until your kids got out of high school or went off to college before you got into whatever it was. When you live like that, you don't have a clear connection to your intuition, meaning you're going to be more prone to doubting yourself, over analyzing things, questioning people's behavior. And it can feel overwhelming when that is already your emotional template to then go into dating. If you already don't trust yourself because your emotional stance is, I don't trust people, I don't know if I can trust my judgment anymore, it can be really challenging and overwhelming to go into dating from that place. The key, though, is first learning how to regulate your mind and your body. And emotional regulation is a skill set that most women who are successful in their careers and in other parts of their lives miss when it comes to their love lives. So being able to discern, am I having a trauma response and am I truly overreacting to this? Or is this truly a red flag? And is this truly something that I need to pay attention to or speak up on? So learning how to widen your window of tolerance to new experiences, happiness. When you exit a narcissistic relationship, your window of tolerance to life is pretty short. And a lot of women that I work with and have spoken to in the past feel stuck, often years after they left the marriage or the relationship, because their mind and their body, and your mind and your body will get stuck in this like arrested development, this short window of tolerance. And it will cause you to believe that you don't have very many options. And it will also cause you to believe that something's wrong with you, or that it's going to be harder for you because of your past. And if you believe these things that are limiting beliefs, you are not going to take the necessary action to get a different outcome in your love life, because you believe that it's not possible, or you believe that something's wrong with you, or you believe that people can't be trusted, or you believe that you can't trust yourself. So it all starts with what's going on internally, and whatever is going on internally with you is going to have a direct effect on your outer environment and your life. So the first way of overcoming this pattern and getting out of your fear and your frustration is first learning how to regulate your mind and your body to a new thermostat setting. Instead of being in fight or flight and using coping strategies like being a workaholic, chronic busyness, getting a new diploma, getting a new job promotion, going back to school, getting a third MBA, achievements, hiding behind achievements, being a perfectionist, being a people pleaser. These are common coping strategies that people who have been hurt in relationship use to avoid that pain. But these are also masks that you may be wearing that will make you, unfortunately, a complementary match to someone who has narcissistic traits. When the ultimate key to overcoming trauma, if you've had relationship trauma, is being in a healthy relationship. It's not being by yourself. There's only so much work that you can do by yourself, on yourself, solo. The real rubber hits the road. The real magic happens when you are in relationship with people who are safe, where you feel seen, where you feel heard, where you feel understood. This helps your mind and your body reset that trauma baseline. And when you start having positive outer experiences, because you've shifted what's going on in here first, and then you start getting reinforcement from your environment, it starts to gain some momentum. So instead of constantly deleting dating apps and feeling like you're never going to get it right, you start having some wins in that area of your life, and you start getting some positive feedback. And this reinforces the new belief in you that love is possible for me. I actually can do this, right? So just to quickly recap, if you are in a situation, especially if you're a woman over 40 and other areas of your life, you get it right, you're talented in your career, you have drive, you have ambition, like you study yourself, you're into personal development, like you work out, like you're into like self-care, you're doing all of the right things, right? You've had a lot of therapy. However, you keep running into the same types of disappointing situations in dating or in your love life. And you find that you kind of have this knee-jerk reaction, or this like, I'm just done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And this is your response to dating. This is actually holding you back. Yes, it's fine to take a break from dating. Okay. I've taken many breaks from dating. It's okay. However, you want to be aware of what is your driving motive. Is your driving motive, I just need to like catch my breath for a second? Or is your driving motive, this is never going to work for me, I'm too old, like people can't be trusted, it's just too much of a hassle? If that's your driving motive, that is coming from a trauma response. And if you enter any area of your life from a trauma response, you're going to get more unfulfilling, not good results. So the way out of that, and when you are avoiding dating, before we get out into the way out of that, if you're avoiding dating, ultimately what you're doing is using the same coping strategies, survival strategies that you used to tolerate your marriage or your last relationship or the last relationship before that, avoiding certain things, avoiding certain topics, avoiding your intuition, avoiding your own feelings, cutting yourself off to fit in that relationship. And if you're doing that right now, and that's your strategy in your love life, you're not going to get a different result, because you're basically using the same stuff that got you the same old unfulfilling results in the past. The way out of that is by first learning how to emotionally regulate, balancing your brain and your body. If you find that you're a chronic busier, like if you're constantly telling yourself, I don't have enough time because of X, Y, or Z, or my career is first and foremost, or I have to lose a certain amount of weight first, or I need to do this first, feel like you've got to like have everything in your life lined up, just perfectionism in order to move forward with dating. Or you find, that you get into dating situations with people who may like you, but you don't like them quite as much, or there are some red flags, but you don't know how to communicate what you're really feeling in a direct way that's healthy. People pleasing, by the way, that's people pleasing in action. If you don't have the skill set, you rob yourself of developing that skill set when you avoid dating. And really the only way to get good at something is through practice and repetition. Just like going to the gym, losing weight, you got to be consistent, you got to follow a plan, you have to show up on days that you don't really want to show up. Like you have to have that inherent motivation and that discipline. So learning how to emotionally regulate yourself, first and foremost, practice, huge. Here we use somatic therapy, which is evidence-based. Somatic work, trauma-informed movement. This has been proven in research studies to be more effective than talk therapy, especially for women who have experienced emotional abuse in a romantic relationship. Somatic therapy has also been I don't know if this is like widely known, but more effective for people who have things like borderline personality disorder or borderline personality disorder traits and features, right? Being a little hyper reactive to rejection or a little overreactive to rejection or abandonment. It's been shown to be more effective than DBT, which is like the gold standard for that type of personality, that type of personality trait. So, learning how to emotionally regulate, developing a new baseline for how you're thinking and how you're feeling every day. And then, secondly, learning how to widen your window of tolerance to new experiences. People who have relationship trauma subconsciously don't believe that happiness can last. They're constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop. They're constantly kind of on high alert. They don't trust that a good thing can last because their life experiences have shown them otherwise. And if you keep living by that standard psychologically, you kind of keep creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the only way to get out of that habit and break that cycle is to first learn how to emotionally regulate yourself by yourself, and then start introducing new challenges in your social life and in your dating life that are going to expose you to things that might trigger you, like having to say no to somebody, or having to set a harder boundary with somebody, or having to be vulnerable, being vulnerable with somebody new. These are all things that are going to lie outside of your window of tolerance or your comfort zone. And when you learn how to emotionally regulate yourself, and you add a challenge, and then you can emotionally regulate yourself in that challenge and make a new choice, your life changes. This doesn't happen overnight. It's not a magic solution. It requires discipline, it requires consistency, it requires some time. Repeated repetition over time, right? Just like going to the gym, you're not going to see results in a week. You might, but over time, that's where the real payoffs happen. So if this resonated for you and you are a woman over 40 and you are having a hard time in dating and you consider yourself otherwise successful in your life, you've got a great career, you're educated, but when it comes to your love life, you keep meeting the same like underachieving, not on your level types of people you continue to tolerate, or right now you're avoiding dating, here are some ways that you can start to get some relief. First and foremost, I have a free masterclass called Break the Cycle, which goes over the 5 shifts that I teach in depth to my clients when they are working with me together inside of Break the Cycle. It's going to give you the bird's eye view of how we get people results. It's also going to start shifting your beliefs on what's possible for you in your love life and breaking you out of, hopefully, some archaic thinking that might be protecting you, but it's ultimately holding you back. So that is found at bethanydotson.com/training. Second thing, I'm doing a live workshop this Thursday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Central Time on dating fearlessly over 40. I'm going to be introducing some concepts that I only really teach my clients inside of Break the Cycle. So if you'd like to register for that, I'll drop the link below in the comment section. And then finally, if you would like to schedule a free initial call to see if we're a good fit to work together, to look at your patterns, to look at what you want in your life, to look at your goals and discern, can we help you get the results that you want in your love life? Then you can go to bethanydotson.com/talk and we will have a honest conversation. If we can't help you on that call or for whatever reason we don't feel like it's a good fit, we're going to either give you a homework assignment, kind of like some prerequisite work, tell you to come back later, or we might refer you out to something else that may be a better fit for you right now, given where you are in your healing journey. And if we are a good fit, we'll explain all of the options that we have available for you if you decide to come in and step on board into your transformation with us. So have a beautiful day. I will talk to you soon. Take care.